Welcome to SHOWstudio's Fashion Radio, the podcast and video series exploring the remarkable relationship between fashion and music. Every week, I'll be joined by fashion's biggest names and the talent of tomorrow as they share their 10 life-defining tunes and the stories behind them. I'm your host, DJ Fat Tony, and joining me today is one of London's most celebrated skaters. Armed with an effortless style on and off the board, this young rebel has captivated audiences worldwide, redefining what it means to be a modern skater. Proving his fashion-forward flair, today's guest has not only designed his own sneaker collection for Adidas, but even owns his own brand, Thames. Prepare to be inspired by the one and only Blondie. I've known you a very long time now. Considering how old are you now?
26.
Are you 26?
How old did you think I was?
I don't know. It's kind of like, since I've known you, it's kind of just been like one sentence. There's never been a full stop.
When I met you, you're still the same age to me for a different reason, because I was the age when I met you that grown-ups are just grown-ups, and you were definitely a grown-up. With all due respect, Tony.
No, of course.
I met you in Gary's office on above
Adidas.
Pineapple Dance Studios when it was there, and you were a grown-up then, and you're a grown-up now.
So much has happened since I've known you in your life. You now have kids, you're getting married, you have your own business. You've gone from being that South Bank skater, right, that had an affiliation with Adidas and other brands that we were, and now you're kind of have this like empire of your own, right, which you've created from being yourself, right, which is not a lot of people do that, right, and not a lot of people actually create a business and just a whole empire. And I will call it an empire because it is just from being themselves. Do you get what I'm saying to you? Because a lot of people strive to be other people or strive to be the best person that they think you want to see. And I can only talk from experience. But, for you, it's the whole Blondie ethos, right? Whether it be with Fred Perry, whether it be with your own brand, Thames, or whether it be with Adidas, or in the past with Palace and everyone else that you've worked with. And you've kind of earned your stripes with. What do you listen to lift your mood?
I really listen to all sorts of music at all sorts of times. But for when I'm consciously trying to keep my spirits up or alter my mood one way or another, I actually seem to like listening to soundtracks, movie soundtracks. Mm-hmm. I really listen to the Arthur soundtrack, the Burt Bacharach soundtrack, a lot. I like listening to
the first Arthur.
Yeah, the 1981, the Dudley Moore one.
Yeah, Dudley Moore. Because there was two, Arthur 2 as well.
Oh, not Arthur 2 on the Rocks. I can't really think of the soundtrack to that.
No, there isn't really one for that, but the first one.
But no, the Burt Bacharach.
Between the Moon and New York City. But even just the ones which are not really songs, but they're really just just
movie soundtrack things, I like listening to...
Does it calm you down? Does it lift your spirits?
It does lift my spirits, that particularly. I like thinking about Arthur a lot. I love the bit when he starts laughing in the car in the very beginning and the prostitute who he's with says, "What is it now?" And he's just laughing to himself. He goes, "I sometimes just think funny things." So thinking about him is fun for me. I like soundtracks like that. I like listening to... what else do I like? Sometimes I've found recently that I've been listening to soundtracks, that Hollywood orchestra of Western movies when I'm riding my bike. That makes me go faster. I've got to be a bit careful about that, actually. I've been listening to... I was building an IKEA bed the other day. It's one of my favourite things to do, genuinely. One of my favourite things to do.
It's like a jigsaw puzzle, isn't it? I know other people that love to do flat pack, and they actually advertise their services on like Craigslist and places like that, so that they can go to people's houses and do their flat packing.
I get very upset when my in-laws or anyone else I know buys an IKEA bed and makes it without telling me, because it's really a relief for me. I was listening to this Marilyn Monroe music from the movies while I was building that for about 5 hours. I'm not very good at it, by the way. I just I like Henry Mancini, the Breakfast at Tiffany's ones.
What's the most influential track from your childhood? Your childhood.
My childhood.
This recent childhood.
Not now.
No, yeah, not now, yeah.
I have no idea how it came into my possession, genuinely. But I had a CD of the Supremes and I had a CD player next to my bed, and every night the two would meet. Every night I would listen to this Supremes CD, and I really don't know how, as I say, how I got the CD in the first place. It was, I must have been, if you're thinking that I might have bought it because I thought it might have had something to do with the skate brand Supreme or anything. It wasn't that, because I was about 10 years old, pre-skating, pre-everything. I just loved...
I think it might be your dad's or something that you found in the house.
No, my dad only likes that one song, Whenever, Wherever, by Shakira. That's the only... You've met my dad, so...
I can imagine your dad listening to it.
It's very funny because it's absolutely true.
Yeah, it's so true. Right, go on.
But no, so I don't know how I got the
Supreme
CD.
Track,
it was just a best of Supreme.
The best of Supreme. Like
that. But the track, I remember particularly liking the track Where Did Our Love Go?
Amazing.
And I was, when I discovered our friend Mark Arman's iteration of that track, that's amazing too. I love that.
Which leads us on to the fact that your passion for electronic music. You have a real passion for electronic music. That those early 80s, mid 80s electro sounds of like Mark Arman, Soft Cell, or of the Great Pet Shop Boys.
Maybe it's because I wasn't actually there. But I do have an affection for what I do, and have for most of my life, or that which I can remember. I thought that seemed like a good time. That's why I thought your book was so good, because a lot of people have, everyone's got their own recovery story, and everyone has their own tales to tell of pre-recovery.
Yeah.
But not only are you a master of the anecdote, you were who you were at a time that was genuinely very interesting. There was a lot happening.
We said it a lot on this podcast, because it was a pre-social media time, and platforms were platforms. You had to create a platform. You had to do something to be noticed. That was it. You couldn't just be at home pretending that you're doing this for your 8,000 cats and dog followers. You had to actually get off your ass and actually fucking do something. So I'm very blessed that I was born when I was born, and for me, the 80s and the 90s were really amazing times, because they were the most creative, so creative.
So would you say, as objectively as one possibly can, that was a better time?
100%
for arts.
On so many levels. I'm not one of these people how things have, it's not as good as it used to be. Everything's as good as it used to be, because it's now. But the thing about the 80s was, it was such a less complicated time. Because when I first met you, going back to Gary Aston from Adidas, he went, "Oh, I've got this kid I want you to meet." I don't know where it used to come from now. It sounds like it's Welsh. And he's into George Michael. And that was kind of like my intro into you, and it was like, that's how we got to know each other, because of Gary. He's into George Michael. And I was like, oh, okay, cool. And that and just your knowledge at that point in time, when I spoke to you the first time and started to talk to you, I was like gobsmacked by your knowledge of that era and the music of that era. You loved the Smiths. There was so many different elements to that era, that time, that you loved. It was like you almost like you had lived it without living it. Do you get what I'm saying?
Well, I care about what I care about. I don't care about many things. That which I do care about, I really like to know a lot about. And I think, as I said, it's maybe partly fueled by my not being there.
So what do you listen to in your studio?
Well, it really depends. When I'm writing in the morning, as I usually am for the first 2 or 3 hours of every morning, I can't listen to music with words in it and write words at the same time. I'm not mentally capable of that just yet, maybe one day. So I'm listening to music without lyrics, basically.
Like classical?
I'm listening to classical music. I typed in classical music on YouTube.
That's one of the most answered questions.
Is it?
Every creative person that comes in here says exactly the same now. Either white noise or classical. They kind of like just like silence.
White noise, that song, White Noise.
No, just white lines. White lines. No, literally just like the whole classical thing, because it's not distractive. Do you know what I mean? You don't suddenly think, scat and start singing along. It's just in the background, and it kind of something very comforting about it.
It's not distracting, but it's something there. And for people who are used to some level of stimulation, it's good. For me, it's essential. I can't really write certain things. Of course, I can write emails and bits and bobs without it. But when I'm really trying to write a script, even trying to write a newsletter or something like that, I need that on. I just typed in classical music on YouTube a long time ago and kept one ear pricked for what I liked, because you have to note it down, because that's the thing about classical music not having lyrics. You can't type them in and go, what's that song? Where it goes, because it's sort of but it's not all the same. You have to actually make a note of what you like. So now I know what I like. So I listen to classical music for the first couple of hours, 2 or 3 hours of every day. And then when I get up and move over to another desk to do clothes, etc., I'll put on something comparatively contemporary. Normally something quite ridiculous, actually. Normally something like the world famous Supreme Team thing, or some Malcolm McLaren thing,
like Duck Rock album. But that's
poor cupboard
that's not
people.
Ridiculous. That's amazing. What musician today inspires your style? And then you can answer why a skateboarder gets into fashion.
Sure. He's not a musician of today, but he was a musician and it is today. I love Elvis. I've been thinking about Elvis a lot recently, looking at lots of pictures of Elvis. I've been working on my sideburns.
Yeah, I've noticed. I was going to bring them up. I was going to mention them earlier.
I've been particularly working. There's a couple of hairs on this one and a couple here that I've been working particularly hard on. We're getting there.
Are you dyeing him?
No, my hair is all my own, actually.
No, I know your hair's your own, but it always seemed a lot blonder.
No, this is 100% natural.
So you're not putting boot polish in sideburns?
No, I've never dyed my hair in my life.
Okay.
Never in my life.
Because it does
funny
get quite
time
blonde.
we're in, isn't it?
It does get quite blonde in the summer.
It does, yeah. And I used to be much blonder. I used to be very blonde for a Lebanese person, hence the nickname. No, I've never. It's a funny time we're in, isn't it? I was in the taxi the other day and I was looking at this group of boys, and there was 5 of them. There were 5 of them, and 4 of them had dyed hair, and 1 of them didn't. And I thought, what a funny time we're in again, where that's the
it's quite 80s.
The interesting one.
Quite 80s. It is,
the interesting one just has a horrible,
hair.
bushy, normal, completely
wiry, sort of guinea pig hair.
Yeah. Sort of cut
Elvis,
with a knife and fork kind of hair.
Let's go back to Elvis.
Yeah, so I like Elvis a lot. I've been thinking about Elvis a lot. I've been looking at pictures of Elvis a lot recently because we've been putting the finishing touches on the Spring-Summer 25 collection, which is called the Houndstooth Cowboy. I wanted to call it the Dogtooth Cowboy, but apparently there's a very, very specific movie called Dogtooth, so it's Houndstooth Cowboy. But these names, they're only ever just sort of internal working titles anyway. There was the Bejeweled Jockey and Castle.
I think I met him.
And the one that's coming out now is called The Gentleman Pirate. But Spring-Summer 25 is called The Houndstooth Cowboy. So I've been looking at lots of pictures of Elvis for that and thinking a lot about that. When I left the studio half an hour ago, however long ago, time just flies.
It really does. When you're having fun.
I was laying out, I was making an artwork for a rayon shirt, an all over print rayon shirt. It's going to be a Union Jack-like thing, but all out of cowboy belts.
Oh,
Western
okay.
belts and buckles.
And buckles, right? Cool.
I'll show you. I just took a picture of it. It's early, preliminary
Oh,
stage.
I like that.
It's nice, isn't it?
Yeah, it's quite Gucci, early Gucci inspired. It's nice. It's great colour.
I like American things.
That takes us on to catwalk shows. What is the best track that you've heard in a catwalk show?
Well, he never actually used the commission, so maybe it doesn't quite count. But the Lee McQueen, Michael Nyman association meant something to me. Michael Nyman has really moved me as a modern, what would you call him, a composer, I suppose. I actually read an interview with him once, and he said that he wasn't taken seriously because he was or he used to not be taken seriously, at least because he composed for film. I think that Riccardo Tisci actually used Michael Nyman in his very last Burberry show, the one that was at the Methodist Hall in Westminster.
Yeah,
and that was great.
I mean, I've been to quite a few fashion shows with you. We went to the first Kim Jones.
I only really want to go with you, actually. Now I think about it, 75% of the fashion shows I've been to have just been
where we barged in and sat down. Like the first Kim Jones in Paris, which was the Cause show. We went to that together, that was fun. And talked all the way through it. Yeah,
you're allowed to talk through them, though, aren't you?
Yeah, I think that's
everyone else is just on their phones. Anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that was a good one. And we went to Burberry. We went to the last Burberry show for what's his name, Christopher
Bailey. That was good music.
Amazing.
There was some Pet Shop Boys track on there.
There was.
I'm not sure if it was purpose made.
And they had Jimmy Somerville, Small Town Boy.
That's right. That was in that place. It was an old court or something, an old fire station or something.
By Olympia or somewhere, wasn't it?
No, it was just over the road from Farringdon. We went to look at it. You were talking about doing something there. I'm not sure if you ever did.
It was massive.
But it was an amazing venue.
Yeah, it was
and an amazing place. And Christopher Bailey, I thought was, and still think, is a brilliant man.
Well, designer. I saw him at Elton. Well, I went to see Elton, and Christopher was backstage after. And it was the first time I'd seen him in ages.
What did he do?
Nothing.
He did nothing.
I said to him, you got me back to fashion because they really need you. Yeah. And he was like, no, I just want to be with my kids.
That's nice.
Which is beautiful,
I don't think he had kids then. I think maybe he took the break to have some kids.
Which is amazing.
I was told by some people that he was going to Google or because he was a bit of a genius. Like a bit of know something other than what he likes to look like, sort of genius, one of those rare fashion things.
Yeah, of course, very rare, right?
So that was fun, and that was very good music.
Yeah, that was an amazing show. That was an amazing show. Well, okay, right. What's the best music video in terms of fashion that you've seen that instantly you think, fuck, that's on the money?
Is this season 2 now?
Yeah, this is season 2, yeah.
Are the questions the same as season 1?
Similar.
How many people have you asked that question?
Probably every person that's been in that chair that you're in right now.
And how many of them have said Freedom 90?
None.
Oh,
Believe
really?
it or not, no. Oh. We get an awful lot of the Mugler show, Sue Sexy, and we get a few of those ones. But no one's actually said Freedom 90, believe it or not.
Well, Freedom 90, I was not going to say Freedom 90 just because I assumed that everyone had said that. But Too Funky, I was prepared to say Too Funky for variety. Yeah, I thought maybe fewer people would have said Too Funky. But they're brilliant. They're obvious, maybe not that obvious answers. But even if they are, sometimes things are obvious because they just are.
But that whole George Michael era of Roy, when he just started doing his own videos and took control of it and got the girls in and got... that was just a masterpiece. It's timeless.
Video genius.
Timeless.
Absolutely genius. It's an assumption, really, that every good performer, singer, also has a good idea of video, but it's two different things.
Yeah. 100%.
It's really two different things. And George Michael was, in a way that I can only really think of any single artist, Michael Jackson before him, similar level of attention to detail, similar level of concepts to his music videos. George Michael, just absolutely genius. And actually, I love both of those videos we've mentioned, Freedom 90 and Too Funky for the fashion. But my favourite George Michael video, and possibly my favourite music video of all time, is that of Fast Love. Filming the helicopter, filming out of the helicopter, filming things that aren't helicopters at all. That's actually reminded me of Fast Love a bit there. Your urinal.
The urinal, yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
did you say urinal?
Urinal. That's how I say it. I'm from London. I'm from London.
Oh, I say urinal.
Well,
I am too.
You say urinal, I say urinal. Urinal, urinal. It's all the same.
We're all the same. We're all particles.
Let's just piss it out. Okay, let's move on. Said best. Describe what you're wearing today. It's Blondie, isn't it?
What I wear every night, Pinky. I'm wearing this jacket. It's a Burberry jacket. It's actually not a Burberry jacket. It's so old. It's a Burberry's jacket.
Oh, really? That old? So it's vintage Burberry.
I've no idea where it came from. It was in my house one day when before I was sober. It was just there one day. And I don't know.
I used to wake up and a lot of things used to be just there.
I know, but this one was well.
And they never left.
A lot of things. Please don't objectify me. No, this is a thing that was just there one day when I woke up. And I don't know whose it ever was, but if they've been paying attention to me over the last
seen it a lot.
7 years, they will have seen it a lot. But they can't have it back now. Their claim on it is obviously since.
So you're 7 years sober now? I'm
7 years sober now. So that's why I said 7 years.
Yeah, of course.
Because this definitely was in the apartment I was in when I was not sober. So I've got this jacket on. I've got this. This is a Thames Lanceros track towel. Not track towel. It came out a bit too expensive. I thought you can't really call that a track top and price it what it needs to be. I don't know why I thought towel denoted more higher value.
Yeah. Oh yes, a towel.
But it's very nice.
For another 300.
Based on the band that goes on the Cohiba cigar. I don't know if you want to just segue back into cigar
go
conversation.
Back to cigar again. Okay, right.
I'm wearing Thames Conrad trousers. I'm wearing little scuffed up little opera shoes.
Yeah, I saw them. I bought them.
Little bows on them.
Yeah, they're cute.
For good measure. You know.
They're cute. They're cute.
And all my jewellery is Thames.
They're kitten heels.
And as I said, my hair is my own.
Yeah, well, there you go. Right, okay. What song did you listen to getting ready this morning? When you were putting on your concert shoes?
My Life by Billy Joel.
Really?
No. My Life is creeping out of the house silently or making several children breakfast or helping with their upcoming spelling tests.
Do you listen to music in the morning?
No, I can't because I'm in a house full of literally around sleeping babies.
You couldn't really play the music. I don't care about the kids. I'm just going to listen to Freedom 90, full blast.
No.
Fuck the kids.
No, so I don't. I listen to music once I get on the bike. I get the man from Laramie on at the door.
Is that literally where you listen to?
Well, just recently because of, as I said, this cowboy collection that we're doing. But no, I don't listen to music until I get on the bike. And some mornings I take Ebby to nursery 3 days a week. He goes 3 days a week. He's 3. So I won't listen to music until I'm in the studio then. It's a huge part of my life, but I just don't. Not in the morning.
No, I'm the same. It's a huge part of my life. I don't have music on at home. It's like, it's a whole
that's
job.
Like bringing your homework.
It's like me being a plumber all day and then going home and
bringing your work
let
home
me just rearrange the sink underneath the sink for 3 hours. No, it's not going to happen. Is it?
Sometimes I worry that if I actually do devote my entire life to being a professional IKEA bed installer, I won't want to do it at home.
I'm going to get you a set of Allen keys, gold Allen keys.
My working week to the installation of IKEA furniture. Come the weekend,
I bet you can't.
What is there to do?
I bet you can't wait for Topshop, the old Topshop building in Oxford Circus to open because it's the new IKEA, Central London IKEA. I bet you can't wait.
They got in contact with me with loads of money to do something, and then they didn't reply. I replied very quickly saying, "Loads of money."
Yeah, maybe they
didn't reply.
Maybe they didn't have track towels on their map.
Maybe they thought I was someone else. There's Frank Ocean. His Instagram name is Blondid, and sometimes I receive. Probably more often he receives job offers for me.
Yeah, I get there's a black rapper in New York called Fat Tony, and I sometimes get people messaging me about his rap tracks that he's made. Going, I really love your track.
I know him. It's uncanny, to be fair. It's uncanny.
Yeah, don't worry, I'll sue him. Right, if you could raid any wardrobe, and don't say Elvis, of anyone living or dead, who would it be?
Dead or alive?
Dead or alive. It wouldn't be Pete Burns, would it? I can't imagine you in that, Westwood.
No, I wouldn't want it. I wouldn't want to have any of Pete Burns' clothes, but I would not say no to a guided tour
of
the Pete Burns wardrobe.
So,
That's my answer.
Okay, that's a great answer. Okay, because I gave you that answer, but that's fine by me. Okay, and what song would you have at your funeral? It's always the melancholy song.
Dead or Alive.
You spin me right round. We could spin the coffin round.
That's the way I like it. No, no, I wouldn't have. I don't. I'm not like you, Tony. I haven't actually spent years of my life meticulously planning my funeral. I don't actually really think about it.
I did do that. Yeah.
In fact, I'm actually planning on living forever.
Yeah, I'd love that.
No, so I don't really know. I had never thought about it until you asked me that.
It's a weird question for someone who's not thought about their own funeral.
I think
at 26. It's not something you think about, right?
You gave me a bit of a heads up with the questions. You told me that you were going to ask me that, so I did. In the interest of me coming up with a good answer,
yes, of course,
a mildly witty response, and this is my best one. Do you know the song "Living in a Box" by the band Living in a Box off their 1987 debut album, Living in a Box?
So you're gonna have Living in a Box.
I think maybe I would hope that my kids would be old enough, yet not mature, yet not too mature to get a laugh out of that. It would actually be quite good, wouldn't it?
It would actually
the coffin going down.
Yeah.
I'm living. A
cardboard box.
What a terrible song. If there is an appropriate time in your life,
you could have, I come from a land down under.
That's quite
good. That's quite a good one.
On the way back up.
On the way back up.
Or Thriller. Or Ghost by Michael Jackson. Ghost is so weird. Ghost is so weird. Thriller's good. Thriller's amazing. But, yeah.
But you can't really have that at your funeral. You can have
not unless it's a fake funeral. I have not planned my own funeral, but I have thought about faking a funeral and being there. I've never read, what's it called? Huckleberry Finn?
You don't know. Don't ask me.
Robinson
Crusoe? No.
It's one of those titles. There's a story with Huckleberry Finn in it. And apparently that's what it's about. Because I said to Jen, what an amazing movie it would be. Someone faking their own funeral, going there, being at it, and going, this is all wrong. This is completely fucked up. And she said, what? Huckleberry Finn or something. I don't know. But no, I've not thought about actually being there.
So we're having Living in a Box.
Definitely.
Your final answer.
Final answer.
Okay. What track? This is the money making question. What track represents how you feel about life right now? Where you're at right now with a kid? There's so much going on in your life.
Phone a friend.
You could phone a friend if you want.
But you're just here.
I know, and I'm going to say Freedom 90, but
what? Tell me the question again. What track?
What's a track that represents how you feel about life right now? Where you are, we just think, we're just going into spring, so everything changes, doesn't it? How we feel about life. I mean, what have you written down?
No, I've not written anything down. This is a curveball question.
Oh, yes, this is. This wasn't on the list. We didn't put it out there.
Coming back to my
we don't plan this. Go on.
Coming back to my quarter life crisis, which is now something more like a third life crisis. I didn't write anything down. I just went to see what music I'd last listened to.
Yeah, go on. And what was it?
And it was A Very Good Year by Frank Sinatra.
Fuck you. Well, that's good. That's a brilliant answer. That's almost AI. It's like that's an AI question. You just asked AI, and it's just come up with it was Siri. Yeah, you literally tell me.
When will AI be able to tell us things about ourselves that we don't even know? No, well, I think that sort of answers your question. I mean, that's the last song I listened to.
Listen, it's been a pleasure.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, come on.
I'm very happy to be here. It's been fun.
Yeah, always
genuinely.
Is. Yeah,
it's been fun.
Yeah. Big love.
Thanks, Tony. Love you.